Now, Obama, he's above race. In case you don't believe it, I'm going to give it to you from his own words. From dreams from my father. I ceased to advertise my mother's race at the age of 12 or 13. When I began to suspect it by doing so, I was ingratiating myself to whites. I found solace in nursing a pervasive sense of grievance and animosity against my mother's race. It remained necessary to prove which side you were on to show your loyalty to the black masses, to strike out and name names. That's how he's above the races, folks. And then you wonder how he chose people like Van Jones. And how about that diversity czar, Mark Lloyd? He wants diversity, all right. He wants to diversify your portfolio, take it from you, and give it to somebody else. Liberals want to convince us, you people out there, that you are the racists. Well, I say this. You can put your boots in the oven, but that don't make them biscuits. Acorn wanted to put pimps and prostitutes in your neighborhoods. They say nothing's wrong with this. And they say they're bringing underage El Salvadoran girls for illicit reasons. There's nothing wrong with that. So you know what? It does make you wonder who's already in those neighborhoods. Liberals will plant criminals in your neighborhoods. Then you know what they'll ask you for money to do? Fight crime. They call conservatives racist for passing the three-strike rule. Well, I'll ask you this. Exactly how many strikes should a criminal get? 7? Maybe Eric Holder, when he's finished prosecuting patriots, he can take a look at Acorn and those other liberal criminal enterprises and actually do his job and fight real crime. But liberals want to convince you guys that Acorn is doing good in these communities that they serve up. And you heard me right. They serve them up. Because Acorn doesn't serve any community. They serve liberals. And do I need to remind you who had Acorn all over his resume? In case some of you noticed, I got here a little bit late, but I did have a good excuse. I was in court being sued by my pets. Apparently, they don't like the frequency at which I pick up their doo-doo and the quality of the food that I serve them. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but in the world of abomination, that's what they want us to be doing, is getting sued by animals. Just recently, Polanski was arrested in Switzerland for the crime of molesting a 13-year-old girl. This man gave this little girl drugs and wine, and you know the rest. The liberals are saying that they need to hear the whole story. I guess that Polanski, the fact that he desired a 13-year-old girl wasn't enough for them. Too bad we couldn't invoke frontier justice and toss Polanski in a supermax prison yard and let the prisoners do to him what he did to that child. Folks, liberals are incorrigible. They try to redeem the unredeemable. They kill babies in the womb, and if they survive, they serve them up for pedophiles. When I was a kid and I used to screw up, which was rare, my grandmother would say, "Boy, you done lost your religion." Well, perhaps I had, but it was only temporary because I always found my way back. But unfortunately for America, liberals have indeed lost their religion and they ain't coming back. Obama himself said America is no longer a Christian nation. That's right, I say he was speaking about the people that voted for him and not us. I'm going to tell you in his own words what he said in The Audacity of Hope. He said, "I will stand with the Muslims should the political winds shift in an ugly direction." And I say shift they have. September 25th was a Muslim day of prayer in D.C. on public grounds, something that we can't do in D.C. We can't say the Pledge of Allegiance at school sporting events, and liberals have demanded that God be taken out of everything. Well, let me ask you this. Are liberals making those same demands of the Muslims? When have you seen any Muslim country ask for Allah to be removed from their public buildings? Muslims can pray anytime, anywhere by invoking religious rights, but you can't even say Christ in Xmas. I say, let's make Ramadan a holiday for all too then. You can't take a Bible into Muslim countries, yet we welcome the Quran. What are they afraid of? What are liberals afraid of? Is there anybody out here silly enough to believe the word illegal in illegal immigration? Well, here's one for you. Carol Plato, an executive director of Martin Memorial Medical Center in Florida, gives a briefing on the specific cost of liabilities the hospital has incurred while treating illegal immigrants. It's actually really outrageous to hear the itemized costs these hospitals have to incur while knowingly treating illegal immigrants. Even more outrageous is that one of them, who was deported back to his home country after racking up millions in free legal bills, is now suing the hospital for turning him in. Only in America, folks, can something like this happen. Other countries forcibly deport, imprison, and generally make the lives miserable for illegal aliens, and we treat them better than our own citizens. But you want to know the irony? Illegal aliens are leaving the country right now because there are no jobs. And while we're on the subject of illegal, or at least very questionable status, let's discuss America's most famous undocumented worker, Barack Obama. He is now up to $1.3 million in attorney's fees to prevent us from seeing a simple document called the birth certificate. And then he wonders why we have the nerve to question him. He smugly implies, take my word for it. If you disagree with this constitutional requirement, they call you a birther. Ask yourself what would be happening if Obama had an R after his name instead of a D. Who would be the birthers then? The liberals are snake oil salesmen. And the latest flavor of snake oil reminds me of a game my brother and I used to play as kids. It's called Smell My Finger. Can you smell government health care? It's easy to recognize because it's like living next to a pig farm. It smells so bad, in fact, that they made health care a Kennedy, Teddy Kennedy, in fact. And if you wanted to name it Teddy Kennedy, I'm all for it. But let's just call it what it is. Rich, drunk, playboy, murderer care. Or better yet, control care, because that's what it's about, control. I'm not going to take you through this bill point by point because you already know this bill is a turd in the punch bowl. The real question is, why is Obama and the Democrats selling control care so vigorously? So here's one answer. Imagine what you can do if you control 1/7 of the nation's money and our life and death. Makes an acorn look like a mustard seed. Through clever and constant application of propaganda, people can be made to see paradise as hell, and also the other way around, to consider the most wretched sort of life as paradise. You want to know who said that? Adolf Hitler.